Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the 94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. In fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
Biden's like, hell no, I'm not ashamed of the 1994 crime bill. That's my crime bill. And because of me, a lot of minorities are sitting in a cage right now. So why the hell would I be ashamed about that? Not going to be long-winded about this. You know as well as I do, if you know anything about nutrition and exercise, that you need the 5 types of collagen for healthy bones, tendons, ligaments, skin, nails, teeth, hair, whatever. This has all 5. Check it out. Check my link in the description below. Read all about it, watch the videos, and grab some.
James Woods dropped this today on Twitter. This is pretty interesting. I love watching campaign rhetoric, campaign ads. Because basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to market you and me. They're trying to get into the control panel of our mind, and they're trying to wire us to get us to vote for their candidate and against the candidate they're running against. And it's all just a dog and pony show, but it's a huge psychological operation that greatly interests me because this right here is woven into the fabric of the American mind to the point where people literally buy into the left versus right paradigm lie and do not even know that that's the knife at their throat causing their own destruction.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the 94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. In fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them.
So in the minds of Democrats, especially black Democrats who realize they have been slighted by the 1994 crime bill, drafted by Joe Biden, it's a really bad, quote unquote, political move to continue to hold fast to that and dig in your heels and double down. Oh, no, I'm not. Hey, matter of fact, I drafted that. Yeah, a lot of people are behind bars for no freaking reason. There are some really good takeaways from this video, specifically one part where Joe Biden says, we've done everything but, I think he said, hang people for jaywalking is what the crime bill did.
Born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That is not completely false. If you leave people, especially people fatherless, especially young boys fatherless, you're basically creating an individual who's not going to be kind to society. They don't take to society, society doesn't take to them, and they become somewhat monstrous and they start doing some serious damage, not only to property, but also to people. So, you know, there's some truth interwoven in the lies of Joe Biden there.
That society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created.
But nobody should know better about the criminal mind than a politician, right?
Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours.
Yeah, it's that's interesting, isn't it? Tat 459 says, "Oh my God, spoken by one of the biggest predators." Yeah, this guy is a serious predator. All politicians are predators. Think about it. Every law is just the opinion of a politician backed by the threat of force. Basically, they're forcing you to do something against your will and without your consent. And if you don't do what they tell you to do, you actually become an enemy of the state. And if you become an enemy of the state in the eyes of a politician, well, then you're going to be punished. You're going to be cited. You'll be fined. You'll be kidnapped. You'll be caged. Your life will be ruined. So yeah, it is ironic that a top predator is trying to talk about and warn about other lesser predators.
From them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Mass incarceration has put hundreds of thousands behind bars for minor offenses.
Yeah, and one of the big things, one of the big catalysts for that is the war on drugs, which isn't a war on drugs. That's a euphemism for the war on people.
Joe Biden wrote those laws.
Every major crime bill that's come out of this Congress.
Okay, so if Joe Biden wrote those laws, what does that say about the law enforcers who obeyed Joe Biden and enforced those laws? See, it doesn't matter if there's a Joe Biden or a Kamala Harris or a Cory Booker or an Elizabeth Warren in the Senate houses creating laws. What matters is, are there going to be people, psychopaths, carrying out those laws? Who's worse, the people who wrote the law or the people who put the law into action? I contend it's the people who put the law into action, because you can whisper into somebody's ear, kill that person. And if nobody ever obeys, it's just words. Yeah, it's coming out of an evil heart, but at least he's not doing the action. You can say kill that person all day long, jail that person, cage that person, fine that person. But if nobody's killed, jailed, and fined, nothing happens. Nothing happens in reality. The onus and the ownership of that action is on the person who actually brought that law into being. Nobody goes to jail without a law enforcer saying, okay, Joe Biden, I'm going to take your crime bill, and I'm going to take it seriously, and I'm going to enact this law, and I'm going to enforce what you wrote on a piece of paper. Words on paper don't hurt people. Law enforcers with utility belts, badges, and guns, and funny costumes, and coming with the authority of the state do harm people. They kill people. They cage people. They ruin people's lives economically and physically. So what does that say? If Joe Biden's a bad person for making the 1994 crime bill, who's worse, Joe Biden who penned it or the law enforcers who are enforcing it? It's the law enforcers.
Has had the name Joe Biden on that bill. We do everything but hang people for jaywalking in this.
We do everything but hang people for jaywalking in this bill. God, man. Well, at least he had a moment of honesty right there.
This bill.
Joe Biden's policies destroyed millions of black lives. Joe Biden may not remember.
Joe Biden's policies didn't destroy anybody's lives. The people who enforced Joe Biden's policies ruined those lives, i.e. the law enforcers. If you were serious about your oath, I mean, you were really going to stay with the Constitution, specifically the first 10 amendments, and you saw this come in by your sheriff's office desk or police chief desk, and you looked at it, you would round file that thing faster than you knew what to do. You'd be like, not in my city. We ain't enacting that here. No way, no how, Joe Biden. But because people are order frickin' followers, see, that's the problem with our world. We got law enforcers who are order followers. Nobody in their right mind would take a look at Joe Biden's crime bill and start arresting and caging and killing people.
Joe Biden may not remember, but we do.
I tell you,
As bad as Joe, let me just reiterate, as bad as Joe Biden is, Joe Biden has probably never personally laid hands on another individual, thrown him in the back of his car, kidnapped him, and put him behind bars and put him in a rape cage and fined him and ruined his life and given him a criminal record. But who has? Who has done that? The front lines of let's call it political law enforcement. Where are the laws? What laws are being enforced? The laws of politicians. Who are enforcing them? The law enforcers. Therefore, who is guilty of the greater evil? The person who actually put his hands on another human being against that human being's will and without his consent. Maybe he just had a plant. Maybe he was out too late at night and there was a Joe Biden curfew or something to try to clean up the city. Maybe the guy had a firearm because he lived in Chicago and he was just trying to protect himself so he could make his way home from work so their kids wouldn't have a daddy who was shot down in the streets. See, it's not Joe. Yeah, Joe Biden is evil. Don't get me wrong. He's evil. And they need to tar and feather banker puppets like Joe Biden. But the person who's guilty of the greater evil, the people who are guilty of the greater evil, the conduit through which most evil enters the world is through order-following law enforcers.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black. Take a look at my record, man.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I marched with tens of thousands of others.
He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement and kept telling the story anyway.
I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff.
Now, his aides went back to say, look, he was in office marching for the idea.
That's not the word marching means.
Twitter.
I was not out marching.
You know it's bad when you're getting mocked for lying by the Counterfeit News Network and Jakey the Snake Tapper.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
And you ain't black. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. You ain't black. You ain't black. You ain't black. You ain't black.
The most racist thing a person could tell me is that I'm supposed to choose something based on my race.
You ain't black.
How far have we gone, man? Just that people follow people like that is just nonsense. It's in your face, 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week nonsense. How dumbed down have the sheeple gotten?
Okay, before you go anywhere, a lot of people have asked me if they can get a shirt from the store with the design on the back. Let me show you real quick what you can do within the store as far as self-editing your own design that you can put on any shirt, hoodie, mug, phone case, whatever. Pick out any design from the store, then select any item. And guys, there are hundreds of items to choose from. Hats, beanies, bags, buttons, men's items, women's items, stuff for kids, and even pets. I'll just select this shirt right here. You can change the item color to whatever you want. Hit this little pencil editing tool right here and then click on Customize. You can enlarge, shrink, or reposition the design on any item. You can also click over here to the left on Designs and add any design you want. Matter of fact, you can put as many designs as you want on the front or on the back of the shirt. Or you can click on text and add some customized lettering. With the lettering, you can change the font color, increase the size, and you can even bend the text. And check this out. If you want a design or lettering on the back or on the sides, just click on where you want your design or text, click on the design or text tool, or you can even upload your own design. It only increases the price of the item a couple bucks. And you can do this on any item that you select. The store link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Your purchase gets you a kick-ass design and supports the channel while it helps me create more content. Leave your thoughts about this video for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below.